what I feel quite strongly is the people that are the most isolated are those with dementia. I don't know what's going to happen to grants in a year's time. I am very concerned. Clergy we've lost that have been very important to me. I'm Pippa and I work at West Norfolk Befriending, and we support isolated older people. That's, across just solely West Norfolk. And the isolation needs to be due to a physical problem, loss of sight, loss of hearing, or they've become a carer for somebody that means they can't leave home. So we work with a very specific group of people, really. For us, this whole, the whole lockdown process has been absolutely, for the organisation, an incredible. It's brought us to a real crossroads. All staff have maintained at work but working from home. We've had a huge workload, not from new referrals but from what we've had to do. And I really feel that the positive thing that it's brought us as an organisation is that we're now at a crossroads about what we can deliver. We've been very fortunate, and we have secured funding to help us through COVID from the Norfolk Community Foundation, from the Resilience Fund, and we were one of the first to receive that. And also we had a small pot of money from Tesco's from their COVID funds. So that came about. I've got an incredible team that bring a lot of skills together. And without those skills, we would be in a very different position. If we hadn't have moved when we did into what we did, we'd have been sitting here by now twiddling our thumbs, and we would have had to furlough staff. What we did was, as soon as lockdown was announced, and this sounds really easy, but we transformed all our physical systems, all our pieces of paper, into an online system, so that all staff could work from home with immediate effect and access everything. So in terms of, there's been a lot of systems work. And we rang and spoke to every client and every volunteer to ask them if they would undertake telephone befriending. So all our what we called our current clients were transferred over to telephone befriending. We stopped any client reviews and just kept it as an ongoing service. Alongside that, we had a waiting list mid-March of 60 people sat there waiting for face-to-face. So what we then did was, as a staff team, we started making contact with everyone on the waiting list, and we offered those short-term telephone befriending, and we offered them to wait for face-to-face, or they declined our service, or circumstances have changed. In a lot of ways, lockdown ending at the end of July has come as a good time for us, because we've actually hit the bottom of the waiting list.
Oh, brilliant.
So I talked a minute ago about we're at a crossroads. Traditionally, West Norfolk Befriending has only, apart from our other projects, has only offered face-to-face befriending. We're now coming together as a team in the middle of August, and we're going to look at, do we offer telephone befriending as a mainstream service? Do we offer short-term telephone befriending to those on our waiting list? And how do we go forward? It's a real privilege to be in that position, to have enough volunteers that we can offer that and make those decisions, and currently to have some funding to back that work, really.
Right. You haven't mentioned doing what we're doing, like Zoom or Teams or whatever,
Yes.
Skype. You've not gone down that road?
No. Well, we have, in that the staff team have been fortnightly having a Zoom team meeting. so that we've worked together much closer than we have ever done before. We've got some volunteers that are continue to work on admin and things like that are doing that online. And to keep in touch with our volunteers, we are doing fortnightly mail outs to keep them updated. We should theoretically have another board meeting on Friday, which will be via Zoom. But we haven't offered Zoom to our current clients. Most of them aren't able to access internet, etc. The interesting thing, Andrew, is that I've now got 3 clients that have hearing issues that email. Oh. So part of our crossroads in August is going to be, could we also maybe get a small pot of funding to look at emailing clients as a specific way of communicating with them? So that's all the really positive stuff around, what's an awful time for a lot of people, really. But the negative part for us is that our Care Home Connectors project is lottery funded to work with isolated people in care homes had to be suspended because of care homes are not able to accept any visitors. So really sad, because that whole project had just really kicked off and it came to a stop. We've been able to keep the member of staff on. She hasn't been furloughed and she's working with us now on our main work. So a bit of positive, really.
And how do you see the future?
Exciting. The team, I don't know that people realise how much work it's taken to get to where we are, really. A huge amount of work. From changing our referral forms so that you can type in them because they used to be print, all that has been a massive piece of work. So we've still got a lot more work to do to look at what we're going to deliver long term. But I see West Norfolk Befriending as having a really exciting future. I like to think that we've delivered some stuff through Lily that has been the government response to isolation. We've been part of delivering that. And we're very tiny, Andrew, as you know, and to be able to say that we helped deliver some of the government bit is incredible, really.
So you're positive, really, about the future?
Very positive. I think my black cloud on the horizon, shall we say, is that realistically this year we've got a very positive future. I'm very concerned because we rely, as you know, on lots of little grants. That's how we are funded. And my concern is, because a lot of money has had to be spent to get everybody through this pandemic, I don't know what's going to happen to grants in a year's time. I am very concerned. The lottery, the big ones are all putting their money, quite rightly, into COVID support. But what is going to happen when it runs out next year is a real concern to me.
Yeah, I've heard that from a number of different organisations, not just in Norfolk, but nationwide. It's a real concern, as you say. It's not immediately. It's in maybe 12 months, 18 months. Where's the money going to come from? And with looks like a deep recession, there isn't going to be so much spare cash about.
No. And I think, we are creative. That's what we do, with our small grants, as you know, from our work, and the fact that we've kept going for as long as we have with small grants that make a big difference. We're fine this year, and that's all we can look at the moment. And that's how we've been the last 5 years. The board of trustees are like, oh my goodness, how are we going to get through? But we bring in the money and we get through. And it's not because we don't look at strategy, because we do, but you can't look any further than the year because of the funding, really. So you just don't know, really.
Yeah. So it's a year at a time, really. So obviously, loneliness and isolation was a big issue before COVID.
Yes.
We've had a lot of people who have been even more isolated than before.
Yes.
Do you think the need is going to be severe when we come out of this, whatever that looks like? We're going to hear some stories that are going to be pretty tragic, I should imagine.
Yes, and I think, we're definitely picking up on the isolation of our current clients. I think what I feel quite strongly is the people that are the most isolated are those with dementia and memory loss. They cannot understand, and I'm not making a judgment on them, but most of them cannot understand why they can't go out. Most of those people that are cared for at home survive by the support of the local community, the local groups they go to, that they can't go to. So for me, they're the most vulnerable, and they, in a sense, will be our priority as their referrals come through. But, our guys that we work with are very worried about going out after shielding. They're very concerned, and I think there will be a lot of demand. I think there's a lot of all ages that are scared of going out. I know young people that are just not going out, as well as the frail elderly. Everything has changed, as you say, and I'm not sure what it's going to be like, but I think there will be huge demand for all the services. Really. One thing to say, and I think I've seen locally where I live in a village in the Fens, and I've seen everywhere the community have stepped up to support their neighbours, to build relationships. And I really hope that organisations like ours can not hijack that by any means, but help it grow, help it develop, that real community spirit that we've seen everywhere. The hundreds of masks that have been given away and made at Downham, the face masks, the key things are just, they need recognition, but need building on, really.
Brilliant. That's a great message to end on. Thank you ever so much. It's been really insightful for me, but it's also great to hear that you're so confident and upbeat, because I've heard of some charities folding, and so that's great.
But it's my team, that are able. We're a puzzle, and each of us, I can't do the IT stuff, but I've got someone who can, and we're just working together, really.
Fantastic. Well done. Keep it up. That's all I can say.
And keep in touch, Andrew, won't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Good stuff.
Because obviously we've lost two clergy we've lost that have been very important to me for a long time. I worked with Chris Ivory the minute he came to King's Lynn, and to see him, I knew he was going to retire, but to see the bishop go as well, I've now got no... All my clergy have gone.
Yeah, I'll have to have words with some others.
Yes.
Well, I'm hoping to know this to the clergy in King's Lynn, so we'll follow up with a question.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Andrew, and keep in touch, won't you?
Will do. Thanks, Pippa. Bye now.